Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. We want to show you some interesting things found in some fairly recent images of Pluto, especially in terms of some odd structures we found there, as well as some new information that has just come out about Pluto's past. And we are talking about Pluto having liquid lakes and a thick atmosphere. But first, let's get to some of these UFOs and a new structure that we found, which are contained in this image and a second image. Now, in this image here, which we will put the link to down in the video description, there are 3 UFOs seen and look like they are orbiting the dwarf planet. And those UFOs are right here as we're marking with the red circles. And we will go ahead and zoom in on each one. And you can look at this image here and you can see that it's actually a fairly high-resolution image, very clear, showing the structure of Pluto. You can also see somewhat of an atmospheric glow around it being brought on by the sun. And as we zoom in, you will see these 3 extremely large cigar-shaped structures above the surface of Pluto. The first one being here, and then just to the left of it, we have a second one. And then as we move on to the very right side of the image, closest to the horizon line of Pluto, we see a third cigar-shaped structure. And there have actually been 4 of these UFOs seen, although the fourth one may just be one of these, but in a different image. And these cigar-shaped objects have been spoken about in the past. But we also want to turn your attention to a new anomalous structure on the surface of Pluto. Now here is the second image, and as you'll see here, we have another one of these cigar-shaped objects near the surface. These 2 images are basically identical, but for some reason, the only cigar that we can see is this one here, and there looks to be possibly a second one to the left of it. However, what is interesting is a very unique structure that seems to be coming up from the surface of the planet that we saw just kind of scrolling and looking over this beautiful landscape here. And as you see, we'll go over kind of to the middle, and you may already see it in this area here. And as you zoom in, you start to see what looks like a towering, almost a perfect A, capital A shaped structure coming up from the surface and then going back down again. Like an upside down capital V or a capital A. And this is the focus of this video mainly because the other UFOs have actually already been discovered and have been featured in past videos. But this structure is what really caught my eye, and we will go ahead and apply some contrasting and exposure enhancements in attempts to bring the detail of this object out more. And as you can see here, this object is definitely there. You can see one part of the object is being hit and reflected by sunlight, and if you look closely, you can see where it goes back down again, once again like a capital A, slants up and slants back down to the surface. And as you can see, the inside of the structure that's slanting back down is in shadow. So it definitely seems to have some reflectivity, and it definitely makes you wonder what we're not being told about Pluto, because Pluto is becoming a topic of mystery as of late. If you've watched the past few of our videos, we've been talking about all of these new discoveries that they've been finding out about Pluto, such as the fact that Pluto has the most diverse collection of minerals and surface features of any other planet or moon in the solar system, whether it be methane, water, H2O, and a slew of others. Pluto has it seems that Pluto has a very mysterious past that is baffling scientists who are observing it, who basically up until now have been very wrong about what they thought Pluto would look like. The fact that it has floating mountains, ice volcanoes, strange moons, and the very different spin rates of each of these 4 moons, which suggests that Pluto and its moon Charon may have not had anything to do with each other, and are not as old as the solar system itself, and that some of these moons may have joined in the system later. or for that matter, Pluto altogether. And again, they didn't think Pluto could have an atmosphere. However, it is extremely rich in nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide, which has created an atmosphere with very little loss of said atmosphere, and at a much slower rate than astronomers believed. And now, newly analyzed data collected by NASA's New Horizons spacecraft suggest that the dramatically changing seasons of the dwarf planet could have resulted in an atmosphere that waxed and waned. Other results, meanwhile, strengthen the idea that Pluto's 5 moons were born in a powerful collision billions of years ago. And they've also found out that from the data that they've collected, it looks like Pluto's surface in the past had running liquids. And that is a direct quote from New Horizons principal investigator Alan Stern of the Southwest Research Institute in Boulder, Colorado. So there's some very interesting things around Pluto that I think we are likely not being told. I think we're being told, the least and most boring of these new finds. I mean, they're definitely not boring, but I think they definitely save the juicy stuff for themselves, especially in terms of these structures on the surface and the UFOs orbiting the planet. And remember, we've also found these large cigar-shaped objects orbiting Mars and its moon Phobos. Google the Phobos incident, in which the Soviet Union sent 2 probes out there, both of which were knocked out by a large cylinder cigar-shaped object, but not before taking a snapshot of the actual object. And there have also been images of Mars showing these large cigar-shaped crafts over the surface, casting these large shadows down on the Martian surface. And it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that I think that these same objects could be orbiting other bodies in our solar system, including Pluto, seeing as that Pluto is one of the farthest out planets in our solar system, and is a very quiet and faraway place for another race of beings to possibly have a base at or be using as a jump-off point. But again, there's a lot of mysterious things about Pluto happening and that we're discovering, and as well as other discoveries around the solar system. Saturn's moon Titan, for instance, we did a video on that. Some very mysterious things happening on Titan, which, as you may or may not know, has large methane lakes and seas on its surface and a very dense, thick atmosphere. And this is a moon of Saturn, which is way out there in space also, far from the sun. So again, it's definitely interesting. We have these cigar-shaped objects around Pluto, and then we have this new A-shaped structure that looks to be connected to the surface. And yeah, we wanted to see what you guys thought. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, stick around, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon with much, much more. Stay safe, guys.